this on your chin.
No, no, because I'm like, what is it? No.
Put it on your chin.
Put it on your chin.
I did put it on my chin.
Do it again.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Put it on your chin.
This is my goddamn chin.
Put it on your chin.
I put it on my cheek.
Exactly.
I put it on my cheek. Oh my god! I'm like, this is my goddamn chin. This is chin. I know what chin. People know what chin.
We gotta put that in there.
And look, I'm staying hollering. This is my chin. This is my oh my god! And
I just made my day.
You know what? Everybody has been doing this. They go right here. They're like, no, Negro, that is your cheek. This is your chin. Oh my gosh.
No, she knew it. And then I say, put it on your chin. She said, it is. I said, hold on, look at my camera.
Oh my god, that's so hilarious. Welcome back, Vergers. Thank you all so much for coming back tonight for another episode of 30-something and Verging. And as you can see tonight, I have two handsome and gorgeous guests with me. So let's give them a round of applause and welcome my production manager and my niece, Anthony and Aaliyah. All right, so tonight, first I want to let them introduce themselves, like say what they do or what grade they're in, so you can know about them.
Oh God. You want her?
Hello, I am Anthony, as you know me, production manager, owner of Anthem Media Productions. I am a photographer and videographer, and I'm a rising senior at a KIPP High School.
Hello, my name is Aaliyah. I am Akila's niece. I am in the 11th grade. I'm almost a senior. Just one more year.
All right, now that you've met my beautiful guests, I'm gonna, I was talking to them when we were recording our previous episode, and I was like, I want to have you all on to talk about something, and a topic that I thought about was maybe 10 to 20 things teenagers wish they could talk to their parents about, but they can't. And us actually unpacking why they feel like they can't hold their conversation with their parents, right? So, for me, for instance, when I was younger, my mom for a long time compared me to my older sister, just with different little mistakes that my older sister had made. Shout out to number 2, Savine Miles, best big sister in the world. She had made just like little things, gotten pregnant young, and my mom had been taught by her parents and people around her when she was a kid that if you tell a kid constantly that they're going to do X, Y, and Z, it would stop them from doing that. For me, it frustrated me. And it made me feel like she didn't look at me as a person on my own. And I can remember this one incident where my friends and I went joyriding with another friend who was a male. And we were having fun. We were out riding around, having fun, living our best life. I was like 9th grade. And when my mom found out about it, everybody got a whooping because we weren't supposed to be outside. But when she got to me, I said, let me just say something, mama. And I said, stop comparing me to Veen. I'm not going to be like her. I see how you and Veen struggle with, like you struggle with us and how Veen struggles with her kids. I don't want a baby. So you don't have to worry about me getting a baby before I get out of high school. You don't have to worry about me making any crazy decisions. That's not what I see for myself in the future. Like, that's not what I want. So please stop comparing me to Veen and see me as myself. And I think that moment shocked the shit out of her because she had really whooped everybody's ass, right? She had really got in on everybody's ass, and I got one lick. And after that, her respect for me grew. She started trusting me with money. She started trusting me with doing different stuff for my siblings. Like, the respect level grew. But it took me having the courage to say, well, just let me say, because like in black households, it's like if you talk back to a parent, that's disrespectful. And in some aspects, some of us do be trying to be, or whatever. But sometimes it's just we want to hold a conversation with you because we want you to see us and like understand you're not raising a dummy. So I want to turn it over to Anthony and Aaliyah. They can decide who's going to speak first, and we're just going to run through some things. We're just going to talk it through. What are some things that you wish you could talk to your parents about, but you feel that you can't? And I want you, as you're explaining, as you say the thing that it is that you wish you could talk to them about, what gives you the fear of not being able to speak with them about the thing? And parents, please, if you watch this, cool. If you watch this, parents, this is no shade or anything at any parent, Veen or Anthony's dad or mom. It's nothing like that. It's just they felt like when I said it to them, they felt like, hey, like there would be something good for parents to know. Like, hey, like these are some things that your kids wish they could hold a conversation with you about. Like the way that the world is moving and grooving, we need to be able to have these open dialogues with kids to understand them and for them to understand us. So that's the goal of today's episode. All right, so I'm gonna turn it over to these beautiful people, and you might hear me ask them a couple of questions, but I'm gonna let them lead the way.
Can you take my cup, please?
Your cup, okay.
Thank you. You want to go?
I don't know. It don't matter.
They seem a little bit nervous.
Okay. So the big thing for me, and the type of person I am, what I wish that I and my fellow community members can talk to our parents about is our sexuality. Not only just because they're our parents, but we have to deal with a lot of backlash in school and in the earth and on social media just from other people. So the people that you should be able to go to at all times is your parents. Even if your family isn't always opening, you always feel like your parents, they're your parents, they birthed you, they raised you, so you should always trust them. But in the black homes, 95% of the time, the parents are the one pushing them down instead of pushing them up to success and like giving them that little push and like encouragement, and that really does affect the child. So for me, it affected me, but I had to realize at the same time I'm building my own castle and I have to live it my way, and I can't let what other people say knock me down, even though they're my parents. When they speak on that, I just have to be like, I'm not hearing that. Mm-hmm. And that's not just for me, that's a whole lot of people, because you have some parents that kill their children behind it or disown them, put them out. So it's a whole lot. And so for me, that's the biggest thing that I wish I could talk to my parents about. Just let you know. Mm-hmm.
Before she goes, I have a question. Have you been able to have that conversation at any point now, recently, or is it not with either parent?
The conversation has came up because of the fact that me getting in trouble in a black home, your phone gets taken. Mm-hmm. Get your phone taken, they see things that they don't want to see. So the conversation came up that way. But I haven't actually been able to talk to them. Like everything, to me, they know, but I'm still in the closet. That's how it is.
Oh, wow. So how does that impact your everyday life? Like how does that impact you as a human being? Like how are you able to... So for me, right, like my mom was super strict. Like you couldn't have a boyfriend, you couldn't go certain places, and like my friends at school, like they would make fun of me and be like, oh, you can't do da da da. And I remember telling them one time, like, you don't have to live in my house. So whatever the fuck you say, I don't care because I gotta live with my mama. And even though I didn't agree with the stuff that she like not giving me a curfew or whatever, I somehow at that age understood that she was doing, and I'm not saying, so please don't think that I'm saying like this is what your parents are doing. But for me, I understood that my mom was doing the best that she could with what she knew and what she had been taught. And then I also knew for her as a parent, she had already experienced all of this stuff and she was trying to shelter me away from it. And it took me holding conversations with her for her to see you could unloose the leash just a little bit, right? You could do that, right? So that you don't have a fear of me running rampant. Have you ever felt like the urge to be like, let me go and just like sit down and talk or write a letter or do anything? Or do you feel that I'm just gonna keep this, like I used to say sometimes, my mom wouldn't let me go nowhere. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till I get grown. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave. Is it so like, which way do you feel?
So I have two answers. I'm gonna answer that and I'm gonna answer your question. So to answer that, I have the urge, but as soon as I get ready to walk in my room, it's like I still need a bed to sleep in at night. So I ain't gonna go say nothing, or I don't want to be disrespectful because they already had this conversation, or such that. So, for an example, last night, me and my dad was going through his file cabinet, and he had, and I got in trouble in middle school and elementary, he would make me write it out. And so he kept those letters. And so last night, I was reading one of them that I wrote, and in it, I don't know why I did this, but I spoke about my sexuality, and I knew he was going to get it, so I don't know why I wrote about it. And I was reading it, but when I got to that part, I skipped over it just because I knew what it would have brought up if I would have read that out loud. Because to me, I'm still in the closet with everything. And then, so to answer your first question of how it affects us, to me, I'm living a Hannah Montana life. At school and in public is my stage, and I'm Hannah Montana. I can be me and happy. At home, I'm Miley Cyrus. And I have to hide who I am. And that, yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Aaliyah?
I like the attention. Mine is like talking to my mom about a boy. Like that's my biggest, cause that'd be hard.
What's hard about it? So, is it because she acts like mama?
Yes.
So when I say acts like mama, my older sister is her mother, and because we're not. So first off, we're not bashing nobody or nothing like that. Again, my mom was tough, and her thing was that she needed to raise strong, tough women so that they would not be dependent upon men in society, right? Or like whatever man came to them. And I think my sister does it the same way. And I think maybe Aaliyah feels that she's a little bit tougher on her when it comes to talking to a boy. And I think it's out of fear. And Aaliyah and I have held this conversation recently here, that I think that sometimes maybe her and Veen like cross bars simply because Veen is a female and like she's been in that place. And I think that it's scary for her to think that her baby daughter, like her only daughter, would come home with a child or, a disease or something like that. Not saying that it's not saying that it's right, but saying that like she's a parent and like that's a fear. And unfortunately, in black homes, we haven't been shown, or like in most black homes, you haven't been shown, or you don't know how to. Some people don't know how to express those emotions without it feeling like I'm gonna whoop your ass if you don't do what I say, versus saying like, look, I done been down this path. Don't be stupid. And I know that Veen has maybe held a conversation with you, like talking about like her past and different things and saying different stuff. So like when you do talk to her, what is it that brings up the fear for you?
Because like she be like, you probably gonna go out there and get a baby and you don't want it. I'm like, I don't even be like, thinking about it. Like I don't be focused on it.
So you want her to understand that you're not focused on it? Yeah,
like I'm focused on living a child life. Like
you want to be a teenager?
Yeah, instead of trying to be grown.
Yeah. And it's the crazy thing is, it was the same thing for my mom. My mom always said, like, you're going to wind up like Veen with a baby. And I was like, I don't want a kid, though. Like, and that's why I had to tell her that day. I was like, I don't want a baby. Like, I see. Look, it's 8 of us. Shit, it is 8 of us. No, exactly. No more children need to be added. We got your grandkids. Like, no, I do not want a kid. Huh?
It's a lot of them too. Grandkids.
Yeah, it's about 30 of y'all now. Yeah. So it's like, shit. Like, nobody like, don't add to that. But again, I'm not taking up for your parents, right? I'm just thinking, and I'm not a parent, but I am an awesome auntie and godmother. Most of the times I haven't. Y'all check out my goddaughter, Kaylin. She's cooking and she's doing braids and she's doing letters. Like, check her out. Braids by Kay. I don't know what her picture thing is called, and I don't know what her cooking thing is called. I know she wants to cook though. She cooks some really good food, so check her out. But as a parent, and even as an aspiring parent, like I know like how they're holding a conversation with me, I want to be able to hold these conversations with my kids. If I had a child who was a homosexual or like they identified as another gender, because like I'm learning like this.
If you had a child in the LGBTQI+ community,
if I had a child that was a part of the alphabet community, I would not, because that's what I said in the classroom, because I could never get it right. It was so many letters, like they keep adding.
It's LG.
LGBTQIA+.
Yep.
LGBT.
If I have a baby that is an alphabet, I'm gonna stick with, like, you know, I'm gonna work my darndest to understand them, right? And I think there's so many layers to this to pull it out, right? Like thinking about the black church, thinking
That's
about.
That's what I want to speak on too.
Okay.
By us being African Americans, most of us are grown up in the church or religious, and that hinders a lot of parents just for my age group because of the years they were grown in. So like my mom, she had to sneak out a lot as a kid just because she was at church 7 days a week. She couldn't wear jeans, couldn't wear shorts. Always had to wear those long skirts and everything. And for a while, my granny didn't let her wear pants and everything. So being raised up in the church and religion, then you get to both of her kids are homosexual. And
your mom?
Yes, both of us. And so it's like, I know y'all like the Lord. I know y'all love Him, and y'all in church. What happened? And then you read scripture, but then you also read another scripture that go against that scripture. So it's like, I love you, but you know it's wrong. And so I had a conversation with my dad some time ago, and we was talking about it. I was like, this is my life. And he said, that's right. Because when you die, you got to see face to face with God and everything. I say, let me do that. Because you got your own sins that you need to worry about. Stop worrying about mine. I understand I'm your son. Stop worrying about mine. And so church does deal a lot with it.
Yeah, church, and I think because a lot of people feel like if I've seen it go this way and it worked this way, then this is the right thing to do. And that's not always the right thing to do. Like when I talked about Faith Over Fear Fridays today, like I said, like I have this issue with, I don't know if Anthony remembers, but when we first started out, I had like a clipboard with a paper on it, and it was this, and that was so tedious. It helped. It did help with the production, but it was extremely tedious, and I felt like it took a bit away from the authenticity of what I was attempting to do. And
you didn't want it to be scripted.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be completely scripted. So now I write down a couple of notes, and I like remember like where certain things go, right? And I think with parents sometimes they're like, so like my mom had 8 kids, and she has a different relationship with the last 4 than she does with the first 4. Right? Completely different. And I can remember coming home from undergrad and like listening to my mom, I was talking, I was like, y'all lucky. And he was like, what? I was like, cause mama is like y'all have a friend relationship with mama. Mama way easier with y'all. Like with us, it was bam, 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 bam all the time. You know what I'm saying? And with them, it was a little bit lighter. And I just think that sometimes parents, it is not a failure. I just think that sometimes parents refuse to think outside of the box about their kids. Like I always find myself,
times have changed.
Yeah, and I always find myself like I understand what my sister Savine is saying when it comes to Shishi, but then I find myself like but this is when I talk to her, this is what I gather, right? Because I see so much of myself in my niece. I was extremely shy as a young female. I would share what happened yesterday, but I'm not going to share that. Like extremely shy as a female, didn't want to speak up or whatever. But when I gained my mom's respect by speaking up to her, oh, it was over for everybody else. You done so. Like, oh, I could speak up to my mama and she heard me. Oh, everybody can get it. And I think that is a power that parents need to give their kids. And not saying that when I spoke up, I was disrespectful, because I said, Mama, can you listen to me for a second? I know I'm going to get a whooping. I know I'm going to get a whooping, but let me tell you this. And the fact that she listened to me and heard me changed the dynamics of our relationship. And I feel like if we listen to kids now, like for instance, this school year, at the beginning of the school year, them 11th graders hated Akila Miles. You understand me? They hated Akila Miles. Akila Miles was the Satan spawn. Okay, because I was forcing them to do AP Lang.
Yes.
I forcing them to write every day,
Yes.
forcing them to read all the time. And Anthony is one of my former students. So that's why he's saying yes.
Rules.
Like, I was consistent. And one of the students told me, well, Miss Miles, we've never had somebody hold us this accountable. And the crazy thing was I had never had kids hold me accountable too, because I got a sleek mouth. And I got my temper. When I feel like a student is disrespecting me, like, it's like, and these students made me realize, like, Miss Miles, we get that you are the adult in the room, but just if you bag back a little bit, we can come together. And I don't know if Anthony them noticed it, but I began to bag back, try to give them a little bit of space, try to make sure that I'm always trying to have fun. But if you teeter-totter,
The small stuff.
what do you mean by that?
Not doing your homework, but it's your fault.
Yeah.
Now you learn something.
Yeah, those things. And it was like, oh, I ain't gonna pass this. Well,
Did you do what you need to do to pass?
did you read? Oh, you didn't read. Oh, okay. Or in my 5th period class, they would get mad because the smart kids, and I'm gonna call them the smart kids, the 5 smart kids that did all the work, they would get mad when those kids started talking shit to them and be like, do your work, then you won't have to wait for us to give an answer.
I'm tired of that. Wait for us to give an answer.
Right? But I digress. But I began to, Anthony, do you feel like y'all noticed, like, me beginning to step back and, like, not be as...
speak from that because I didn't get that Miles that other Miles got.
But I was the same way.
You was the same way, but I did my homework. I answered questions. So I didn't get the stare like, stop waiting on them to talk and y'all do y'all stuff. I didn't get that. So you was always the same with me.
Okay. Well,
I can say sees the difference.
She does?
'Cause remember, at first she hated you.
Oh yeah, but she hated me from last year with Mr. Like, she hated her and
She
her.
told me that we got into it.
Who?
Me and you in the room.
We didn't get into it. You were mad. It's something I can't remember what you did, but you got really, really smart. And you were I'm not gonna lie on you. You were super disrespectful. And I was
That's what she told me. I was like, I don't remember.
I was trying to keep coming over there because there had already been, it was other stuff, right? So I was like, I need to handle this before it blows up. And there was a teacher that had a whole lot of problem because of his speech, and then because of his own. So I can even utilize him because of his particular beliefs and his religion. It wasn't in him to get riled up or to speak loud to you all. That wasn't something that he would do to command the classroom, right? So yeah, but she was that was because they were always late to his class, and they would get mad if I said something, or they would have their phones in the back of the classroom. Yeah, that was it. It was like team turn up in this one, and I would always get called across the hall. So that was that. But yeah, like, I think because. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. I'm not gonna say I think because I'm gonna stop right there. So what's another thing, Aaliyah, that you wish that you could talk to any adult about?
No, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think because
y'all came up with 2 good ones, like talking about sexuality, relationships. Like, I wish that I could talk to. Now I can talk to my mom a lot more about, like, personal, like, romantic relationships than I could when I was younger. Because when I was younger, it was like,
So I don't particularly deal with this, but a lot of teenagers do sexual intercourse. Because it's always like, even the ones that are out there doing it, like, example, in the doctor's room, you can't never say nothing because your parent right there. So that's something that I don't deal with it. I don't think you deal with it.
I don't deal with it.
So, but a lot of kids do deal with that because they feel like since they did it, the parent is gonna again disown them or push them down. But the way I look at it, I don't want to put my daddy business out there, but he was a Rolling Stone back then, and so certain things.
you need to put that music in, right?
So the things that me and my siblings did, or just me specifically, you can't get on me because you was doing way worse than what I was doing.
Okay. Okay.
The type of stuff I did. Well, okay, change grades in school. I did skip class. I would not do homework for something, but you was out there bringing stuff to school, selling stuff and skipping school and doing all this other stuff. So it's like you getting on me, but I ain't doing nothing that's close to what you're doing.
So I'm gonna be the parent, like devil advocate. True, you might not be doing it, but because your parent has lived that and they've already gone through that experience, now they're like, I don't want my child to be the bad person that I was. If I was selling dope on campus, I don't want my little boy to be selling dope on campus because it looks different for them if they're doing it on campus. They're selling dope on campus now. If I was sneaking out the house, sneaking out the window, sneaker boys in the window, doing da-da-da, I looked up and I didn't get pregnant. But what if I had gotten pregnant at that age? I don't want my daughter to go through that. Right? Like my mom. Oh, Lord. My mama is so like, y'all always talk about my family. My mama is a trip. I cannot remember how the conversation of sex came up. But the conversation of sex came up. My mama said these were her exact words, and this ended the conversation. Oh, sex? This shit is better read about in a book. I was like, okay. Okay, great, Mom. Yeah. So I guess I gotta read a novel. Guess I gotta read a novel to know what the fuck is going on. But it's very strange because as a kid, I thought that, and this is because now my mom, she felt that you had to be at a certain age to know about stuff. And this is me at 11 or 12 talking to some friends of mine who were a little bit more fluent in sexuality and of course and all that. I didn't know nothing about it, and I was again 10 or 11, so my mom didn't feel a need to speak to me about that, right? I thought my mom had 8 kids at this point, so I was like, I told my friends, they were talking about being a virgin, and I was like, I'm listening to them talk because I can't get in the conversation because the stuff that they're talking about I don't understand. But when they started talking about virginity, I thought I understood it. So I said to them, well, my mama was a virgin 8 times.
What?
And this was before I understood what being a virgin was, because I thought that you had sex, you got pregnant. And y'all can call me dumb if you want to. That's your mama. That's your mama's mama in the dirt. But I thought that they had sex, they got pregnant, and once they had the baby, they became a virgin again. That's what I thought. I'm between 9 and 11. So I don't, nobody's talking to me about sexual intercourse or anything like that. So that's what I thought. And my friends
That's
like,
what you heard.
Huh?
That's what you heard. Going off what you heard.
Well, yeah, never understood. Yeah, basing it off of like that. And when I said this to my friends, they bust out, started laughing. Like, nah, once you start having sex, that's it. And I was like, oh, for real? Yeah, interesting. And then, but for me, after seeing like my sister struggle, like her talk to me, my sister would talk to me about what they got in welfare or whatever for kids or whatever. And I think for 2 kids it was $120. And after seeing that, I was like, I don't want no kids. I don't want to. I have an uncle. Shout out to Uncle Newt. My Uncle Newt, from my 9th grade year until my senior year, he called himself using reverse psychology on me. Don't you be out here acting crazy, horse. He called all of my mama's daughters horse. You gonna wind up pregnant. And I was like,